How's it going, everyone? It's K here, and today we are going to take a look at the P-BANDAI Master Grade ASTRAEA plus Twin GN Proto Broadblades. A little backstory for the Gundam ASTRAEA. In the 00 timeline, it served as the base unit for the third generation of Gundams, giving an explanation as to why it looks so similar to the AXIA. The ASTRAEA's main purpose is for testing and development of weapons. That's why it has a ton of weapon options, as well as hardpoints on its forearms and legs. Now let's talk about the build process. This P-BANDAI kit is a recolor of the ASTRAEA Type F from 2021, so almost all runners are from the Master Grade AXIA and the ASTRAEA Type F. You get one new runner, which is the Z runner for the twin broadblades. Out of the box, you get 26 runners, a sticker sheet, a water slide decal sheet, these GN cables, and last but not least is the manual. You do get a bunch of leftovers after building the ASTRAEA, so you can use some of the parts like the different back covers for the GN drive. If you've built Master Grades before, then you'll have an easy time with this kit. If not, just be careful with some of the parts because they are tiny and you'll have a really bad time trying to find them if they fly off. One main problem I found is that since it uses the old AXIA frame, the joints are polycap joints, making these ankles pretty wobbly. You can try to have the ASTRAEA stand up on its own and it won't have any problems, but when you have the other weapons mounted on, you have a risk of it falling over. And since most of the weapons and these clavicle fins are pointy, you don't really want them flying and breaking off. So to try and fix this problem, either get the semi-expensive fix, which is to get metal frame parts, or if you've been collecting Gunpla for a while, you might have an extra action base laying around. If not, you could just buy some for an easy, inexpensive fix. The wrist joints are C-clips, so they can become loose over time. The right wrist on mine is already loose, but nothing a little bit of super glue won't fix. All in all, the build process was pretty simple. If you've built Master Grades before, you'll be done in no time. And if not, just take your time. For the aesthetics, you can tell that this girl is from the 00 Gundam timeline with its sleek and angular design, combined with its simplistic color scheme, making the ASTRAEA one elegant and stylish looking kit. The color separation on this kit is amazing. There's barely any color correction to be done. You will have to use the black stickers on the chest to block out the LED lights. I just painted it black on mine. There's also a bit of panel lining to do. I saved some time on it by using the Mr. Hobby Flow type marker, which is said to be okay on straight plastic, but will eat through paint. In terms of nub marks, they are barely noticeable. I did use a glass file to speed up the nub cleanup process. There's also very little seam lines and mold lines to worry about. The GN cables have a nice holographic tinge when the light hits it. You can use a hobby knife to slice them out of their plastic prison to give them a much more smoother finish. Be careful when handling them. You are required to bend some of them, and when you bend them, it leaves a white line over and ruins the holographic effect if done improperly. And before I move on, Bandai's water slides still suck. I tried to attach the water slides on the GN long and short blades, but because of the weird angle, no amount of decal setter got it to stick on. I will say I didn't have any problems with the decals when attaching to the ASTRAEA itself. One of the things that attracts buyers to Gunpla is their striking design, and the ASTRAEA certainly has that eye-catching look. In terms of articulation, the neck is a single ball joint. These clavicle fins are stationary and on an upright angle as opposed to the AXIAs, which can move up and down, so these really make the head movement limited. You can remove the clavicle fins so you can get more range of motion out of the head. The arms can rotate, raise up horizontally. You also get a 360 just above the elbows. You get a full elbow flex. The wrist is on a ball joint so you can rotate it, but it is going to hit this armor piece by the forearm, and like I said earlier, the hand attaches to the wrist with a C-clip so it can flex and extend. The hands are on a classic 3-1-1 finger separation. The waist can rotate 360 degrees, but the frame and armor can clash, so you're going to have to move it up a bit to get more range. And since there is space, you can have the entire upper portion go side to side. The hip joint connection can swing up or down, the upper thighs can rotate, the hips can flex forward but not a whole lot because the front skirts are limited with what it can do. And the legs can also extend backwards but not a whole lot as well because the back skirt armor is also limited with its movement. You do get an alright knee flexion because the back skirt gets in the way. The ankles can swivel around and tilt left or right. The toes can also pivot up and down. All in all, you can pose this kit around, but you will have to get creative with moving its limbs though. And be careful since the frame is ABS, making the kit seem more flexible, but ABS plastic tends to slowly tear instead of quickly snapping. So if you don't want your shoulder and hip pegs breaking, just be very careful with them. For the weapons and accessories, since the ASTRAEA is made to test weapons, the master grade version also comes packed with different weapons. As stated in this kit's name, it has the Twin Proto GN broad blades, which was originally part of the Metal Build High Maneuver test pack for the Metal Build ASTRAEA. They give you an action base 7 to help the ASTRAEA pose with this behemoth. The broad blades can be stored on the forearms, upper thighs, or lower legs via connector parts. Up next is the Proto GN long and short blades. Either hands can hold onto them with no problems because of the tabs on the ASTRAEA's palm, and when not in use, they can be stored in the twin broad blades. Up next is the Proto GN sword, which can be mounted on either the left arm or right arm. You also get the GN sword, which does the exact same thing as the Proto GN sword, main difference being it has a rifle mode. Up next are the GN beam rifle and GN launcher. The GN beam rifle connects to the tabs on the ASTRAEA's hand and connects to the hardpoint on the forearms, securing it when equipped on either the left or right hand. The GN launcher can be mounted on either shoulders by removing the clavicle fins, but the ASTRAEA has no problem holding it even when not connected because of the tabs on the palms. There are also GN cables inserted into these weapons, but you can't really see them normally. Next is the Proto GN shield and the GN shield. They only connect to the left forearm, and its gimmick is to expand its side panels to increase its defensive area. Up next are the GN beam sabers / daggers. As the name suggests, you get 2 beam saber effects and 2 dagger effects. When not in use, you simply store them on the back skirt of the ASTRAEA. You do get 2 extra more beam saber handles, but you can't really store them on the base ASTRAEA anywhere. The GN drive on the chest is also removable and can be fitted with 2 LEDs for the front and back. I use magnetic switch LEDs on mine because Bandai's LEDs are known to flicker. You do get the display stand for the GN drive, but since the back is a Y shape instead of the pointy one like the 3rd gen Gundams, you can try to mount it, but it's gonna look a little weird. You do get a seated pilot fig in the cockpit. It reuses the Setsuna from the Exia, but since the Celestial Being pilot suits are the same, you can paint it to differentiate them, but you can barely see it in the cockpit anyways. And last but not least is the action base adapter, which you'll need to mount it on an action base and do some cool action poses. Now for a quick size comparison, here it is next to the Master Grade Grandpa Origin version, and here she is next to First Form Barbatos. Okay, final thoughts. I'm gonna change this from the usual should you buy it and change it into a ranking system, because buying stuff is gonna be subjective and different to each individual. Anyway, so the ranks are gonna be from S being the highest going down to a D being the lowest, and yes, I stole that from Devil May Cry, making it more easy to judge the kit's overall criteria rather than a should you or should you not buy. With all that being said, I am going to give this kit an A. Retailing at $71 US, it's not gonna break the bank, but it's not that cheap either. The huge twin broad blades and the clean and elegant aesthetics of the ASTRAEA are this kit's biggest sell. You can also get some pretty cool dynamic poses with it, and having a ton of weapon options is never a downside. But let's face it, if you bought a P-Bandai kit, it's probably not your first time building a master grade. And if it is, well, me then. But like most P-Bandai kits, the older frame used is its biggest downside. All in all, it's a fun time building, posing, and displaying this kit. And with that, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or if I missed anything, comment them down below, and also let me know if you've built this kit. I would love to hear. In this case, I'd love to read what other people think about it. Like the video if you like it, dislike if you didn't, and I hope to see you all next time.